Hello everyone, how's it going? Today I'm basically going to be going over the drama that happened between me, TylerBluntman and Alex.Debates. There's a lot of silly stuff that I think has been said, and not that like all of this is like super important. I think this is a super trivial discussion, but I've had a lot of fun with this specific drama because I think the arguments that have been made against me are hilarious and very comical. I do want to say nothing that I say here means that I hate these two people. I think I hold these two people in high regard, generally speaking. But when it comes to this specific argument that they've been making, I don't know if I've, at least on TikTok, I don't know if I've seen such Weasley arguments, and the amount of straw mans that have taken place is hilarious. It's crazy. It's wild to me. I don't get it. But I know that like when I make videos on TikTok, they're only 1-minute videos. I can't go that far, in depth or whatever. And so I thought it'd be better to just make a video, kind of explain everything. I'm going to be pretty blunt in this video. It's 9 a.m. Right now when I'm making this. And I don't have much patience based on like some of the stuff I've said. Some of the arguments they've made are crazy. They're crazy to me. And so my patience is like this right now. I don't know. It's not like, again, it's not like I hate them or whatever, right? Or anything like that. But I am going to be blunt because, man, some of the stuff that's been levied at me is so dumb. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go through my videos that I've made on Alex or Tyler. Gonna go through like the comments that they've made on these videos as well, and explain basically how bad their arguments were, and explain why there's even drama here. To be honest, I'm kind of confused why there was drama. I don't get it, but we'll just go through it. Hold on a second. I know it's being weird. Hold on a second. Oh, nice. All right. There we go.
The word blacks is widely accepted in academic settings. Is it racist when economists who are black, like Thomas Sowell, write about blacks?
I think this is a miss, Alex. I agree that if it's being used in academia by notable writers, then it's really not that big of a deal. But I don't think she was talking about people in academic settings. I think she was talking about just regular people, specifically liberals. And at that point, I really don't think that there's much to comment on what she said. I think she was pretty fine with what she said. Like, I would never expect someone when talking about white people to say the whites. It doesn't make sense. It's weird. I don't like it. I would expect the same when people are talking about black people. I would not like it if someone said the blacks. It feels very weird. Beyond talking about an academic setting, I really don't have a problem if people have an issue with that phrase, as long as people understand that context does matter.
The word blacks.
Okay. Before we go any further, we're going to pull up Notepad and we're going to write a few things down. These are the main things that I want to be, these are the things I want to be understood from this video, this original video. This is where the original arguments came from. And, let me see here. And a lot of both Alex and Tyler have referred back to my original arguments in this video, trying to say that what I said here was really silly or wasn't cohesive or whatever. But everything I said in this original video was pretty sound, and we'll get into that more, but I want to get it written down. So here's like some of the takeaways. Number one, I said we were talking specifically about the blacks, not blacks. That's an important distinction. I'll get to it. But number 2, let's see. I said academic settings are okay. This is in no particular order. This is just as it's coming to me. I don't know if I'm going to spell academ. Yeah. Oh, goodness. There we go. I said this was, I guess we'll go with this. This is like the main bulk of my argument, which was, oh, actually, no, hold on. Before I get to that, let's say, let me pull up the part of the video where I show Hannah's video. Yeah.
Is widely accepted in academic settings. Is it racist when economists who are black, like Thomas Sowell, write about blacks?
I think this is a miss, Alex. I agree that if it's being used in academia by notable writers, then it's really not that big of a deal. But I don't think she was talking about people in academia. Right here. Okay. Me talking about civil injustice with a liberal. Okay. So this was the original context. The original context was not about academic settings. More specifically, it was about, I guess we'll say, liberals white knighting. This was what the original context was about. In this video, I say she was more specifically talking about like just regular people talking about black people, which is also true. Her context was even more specific. It was basically talking about white liberals that are white knighting. I think that's pretty obvious from what she was saying here, and that's one of the reasons I think Alex's original video was a straw man in itself, because he's talking about like blacks. that was the first straw man. She was talking about the blacks, not blacks. But then he goes on to say blacks is widely used in academic settings, which, again, that was the first straw man, not what she was talking about. Second straw man, she was talking not about academic settings. Oh, wait. I think I said that backwards, but you know what I mean. The blacks, not academic settings. That's the bulk of what I want to get at with that. Then my fourth part here. I don't know. Is there more to this? I think these are the 4 things I want to hammer on. Which was, it sounds very weird to say, and you can test this out. This is like easy to test out. If you say in most normal conversations, the blacks in place of black people, generally you'll find that it does sound very weird. But my argument was very specific. And a lot of people don't realize this. When I say something in a video, a lot of people think that, like, because a lot of other people do this, a lot of people think that when I make a video and I make a certain argument, I'm kind of just throwing words around and I'm being very general. People don't get that I am very, very specific with the things I say in my video. Sometimes I misspeak, or I'll say something that I should have explained more in full. But generally speaking, I try to make sure that everything I say is super calculated. And it's for a very specific reason. It's because I know that people are going to come back and strawman me, which is exactly what happened with this situation. Sounds very weird. So I don't have a problem if people oh, wait. Dang it. This is what I hate about notes. All right. This part's really important. That's why I put it in bold. As long as they understand context matters. That was a big part of my argument, which I think you'll see is not taken seriously throughout this whole drama, was that I said context does matter. Which basically means that obviously there's going to be certain contexts where it makes much more sense than others to say the blacks. I never discounted that fact, but you're going to see that these two guys and their followers, of course, are often acting like I never said something like this. But anyway, we'll throw that in the back burner and then get to it later. Then before I want to go through these real quick. What Tyler Bluntman said here. No, stop. Okay. Oh my gosh, why is it doing that? I've never used TikTok on a computer, so. Saying blacks or whites is no different than saying Hispanics or Asians, whether ethnicity or race. It's just a group of people. It's not a pejorative. So he's doing exactly what Alex did originally, which is saying blacks or whites is not a pejorative. Not a pejorative. Again, we were talking about the blacks, and I think in academic settings, I think she was talking about just regular people, specifically liberals. And at that point, I really don't think that there's much to comment on what she said. I think she was pretty fine with what she said. No. Maybe I showed it. I showed it in the next video when I respond to Tyler. I show that she did not say blacks or quote blacks. She said the blacks, which is a meaningful difference. Tyler and Alex are going to act like it's not a meaningful difference. But I think when you put it in sentences and you actually test it out, it does make a meaningful difference, and I explain why in the next video. I say I can't believe I'm saying this, but Oliver Niehaus is right. The reason I say this is because me and Oliver have had some beef in the past with certain stuff. But anyway, that's a straw man. I was talking about the blacks, which it is. That's true. You would have to articulate how adding the at the beginning of a group of people changes the context. I'm open to being enlightened. My gosh, he's so cocky sometimes. Oh goodness, it's good. I think it's good to be cocky, like when you're on online politics. But when you're cocky, but you're also wrong, ooh, it looks bad. Just saying, it really looks bad. Sure, I'll make a video. I'll do it tomorrow though because it's kind of late to post now. Yeah. Let me reiterate. You have to articulate how it negatively changes the context. I love watching videos of white people telling minorities what should be offensive or not. I'll be waiting. This comment was hilarious to me. I explain a little bit more in the video, or the next video, but I want to touch on that again before or after that video, after we watch that video. Before I get to that one, I do want to show Alex's comment because it was silly. I don't know. Why would it be okay for academics but not us common folk? Okay, number one, we're talking about the whites, the Asians, the blacks, whatever. That's a little different. I would love to see someone in academics show people saying the blacks. I mean, it's definitely possible that someone in academics, maybe like Thomas Sowell or whatever, have said the blacks in their writings, but I kind of doubt it. But maybe I'm wrong. Either way, just because this argument is so bad. Just because academics use a certain phrase in their writings does not mean it's okay to use in every single context. That's the difference. Is that, like he says, why is it okay for academics to use it but not common folk? But the problem is that, like, when you're talking about something in academics or like a scholarly journal or whatever, you're talking about it in a very specific setting or a very specific context, and that context will not be able to transfer to other contexts very easily. Necessarily anyway. Not necessarily anyway. Just he acts like I'm doing an appeal to authority, like, oh, if you're an academic, you can use this phrase. But that's not what I'm saying. There's a difference between saying certain people can use this while other certain people cannot, and saying that if you're in a specific context you can use this, and if you're in this context you cannot. He's acting like I'm saying certain people can say it but certain people cannot. That's not what I was saying. It's the setting, it's the context or the setting, not the people who can say it. It sounds so mean, but I expected such a better argument from Alex. I really did. Because, like, oh man, anyway, all right, we'll keep going. So yeah, Tyler told me to make a video, so I made a video. Let's see, where is this one? All right. Yes, Tyler, I will explain why saying blacks and the blacks is different. If someone were to say, oh, blacks are X, Y, and Z, I think that's very different from someone saying, oh, the blacks are X, Y, and Z. When you say the whites or the blacks or the Asians, it makes it sound like that group is different or they're not equal in some way. Now, you said I love watching videos of white people telling minorities what should be offensive or not. I agree. I think it's really annoying when white liberals try to say that something is racist when it's obviously not racist. That's generally when we're talking about something that's obviously not racist. But also, this is a straw man. Before I keep going, I want to write a few more things down. Hold on. Dang it. Here's my argument for why this is different. And again, you can test these things out and it just intuitively, it sounds weird, right? Actually, later on, I'm going to get into one of Tyler's arguments that he made on Instagram of comparing two sentences that have blacks and the blacks. And intuitively, when you hear these two sentences, you can already tell like there's a weird difference between these two. But yeah, basically the idea is that like when you say, number one, I don't think blacks is that great either. It sounds a little weird. But the blacks I think is even worse, right? And again, they might say after hearing this part where I say, oh, even blacks I think is still weird, they might say something, well, why are academics able to use it but not, common folk? Well, again, I'm not making an argument that certain people can use it and certain people cannot. I'm making the argument that it works in some settings and other settings it does not. I'm not focusing on academics versus common folk. I'm focusing in on academic settings versus normal settings. This is a meaningful difference, but anyway. The reason I think the blacks is very weird is because when you talk about black people in most contexts, when you're just talking about that group of people and you say the blacks, it really makes it sound like you're excluding them as a different group that maybe is like not equal in some way. And again, this is one of the other things I wanted to add on here. Sorry, I just thought about this. Because they make this argument too a few times. Shoot. I forget how to spell necessarily every single time necessary. I think we'll go with that. It's okay. I never said it was necessarily offensive or racist. Again, my thing was, it sounds very weird to me, and so I don't have a problem if other people have an issue with it. Meaning, some black people, may not find it offensive or racist. Okay? But I don't have a problem if they do, because whenever I try to formulate some sentence in normal like settings, saying the blacks, it comes off potentially offensive. Maybe not necessarily racist, but it feels offensive to me because of how we would think of the blacks being used. Again, I'll get into that in a second. But they make this argument that I'm saying it is inherently racist or offensive. I'm not making that argument. And again, I can't even make the argument that it was inherently offensive or racist when I say it's okay in certain settings. If something is inherently offensive or racist, that means it's not okay in any setting whatsoever, right? Like some people would probably make the argument that the N-word is inherently racist to use, period. Meaning that you can't use it in any context, right? I don't know if I would make that argument because, again, you even have the N-word in academic settings as well. But again, that is a different setting than most other contexts. But I never said this. I never said it was like necessarily offensive or racist. Okay, sorry. Going back to what I was saying here. The reason the blacks doesn't sit well is because it makes it sound like you're excluding that group. You're making them like an other, or they're not equal in some way. And you can test this out. So like if I said something like, yeah, I think the blacks are X, Y, and Z, or the blacks are not good, or they are good at X, Y, and Z. Like, just anything like this. I think it does not sit well with me. And I feel like a lot of black people would probably feel that way too. And I feel like a lot of white people would feel that way too. Like, it's not just black people. Like, I know I've talked to other like white people that are, friends of mine or family, who are conservative, by the way. They're not like, where I lean or whatever. And they agree with this. They're like, the blacks, that's so kind of a weird phrase. I don't know if I would ever use that, like, ever. Like, why not just say black people? And again, going back to this, I never said that, like, this is something that, like, I'm, like, trying to control speech or whatever. My only argument was that, like, we don't use it almost ever. Anytime people are generally talking about black people, they literally say just that. They say black people. Why can't we just say that? Why can't we just recognize that, like, it probably makes more sense to just say black people when we generally do say black people. And when you say the blacks, there's other connotations that come with that phrase. And I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it other than that, which is, I guess we'll say, I guess I can use an example as well. Let me see. Because some people just can't understand things with just like an argument. They have to have an example, which I think Tyler's probably the example of that in this case. That is different, or not equal in some way. Oh crap. Let's do. I don't know if there's anything else I'll say for that. I guess I'll do an example real quick, which is like, generally when we talk about animals, in the general public, we think of animals as being much different from humans, right? So when we talk about animals in almost most settings, we will say the animals, right? So like if you're like a farmer or whatever, you'll say like the animals, they don't like do much. They don't roam much or whatever. The animals over here, they're not too bright. The cows are not too bright, right? Or whatever, something like that. Not, kind of a vague example, I guess. But the point of that is that, like, we generally think of animals as being different from humans. And I think that's pretty uncontroversial unless you're like a crazy vegan, which I know that Tyler is not. And so I guess the point I'm trying to get at is that, like, we generally think of animals as being different. So it doesn't feel weird or anything like that to say the animals. But we would never talk about black people in this way, or at least most people would not. I guess Tyler would for whatever reason. We never say like, yeah, the black people or the blacks, not even the black people, the blacks, they do their own thing. The blacks, they do pretty well in this area of schooling, or the blacks, they don't do well in this area of schooling. Like, all of those sound much different to us than the animals. They're not too bright, or the animals over here, they're pretty smart. The animals are they roam over here. Like, these two statements sound very different. I think that's pretty obvious, right? Anyway, I think that's a pretty fair example. If you can think of any other ones, let me know. I mean, because I never said that saying the blacks was necessarily offensive or racist. I said it feels very, very weird to me. It doesn't land right. And so I can understand if people have issues with it. But
Hey, yeah, oh, yep.
I also said that those people who have issues with it should understand that context matters.
Oh, look, it's like that was my original argument. It's like that was like my original argument verbatim.
I don't understand how this is a hot take whatsoever. I don't get it. I literally don't.
I don't.
Also, Alex strawmanned a bit. He said saying whites or Asians or Jews is the same thing. But we were specifically talking about the whites, the Asians, the blacks. That's what we were saying. And every time someone tried to explain this to Alex in the comments, he just never responded. Such a simple and easy take, maybe lukewarm at best. So I don't know why anyone cares about this.
Yeah, that was the other thing, is that I forgot to say that a few minutes ago, but Alex, he made this straw man in my comment section about like, oh, like, you know, saying whites, Asians, Jews, the same thing or whatever. Every time someone tried to explain to him in the comments that this was a complete straw man, he never responded. He never responded once. So I thought this was pretty fair. Also, the other thing I wanted to say with Tyler's comment,
I would never expect someone with...
Sorry, I don't know why it does that. Was that this right here? You would have to articulate how outing that at the beginning of the... Oh, no. Sorry. This right here. I love watching videos of white people telling minorities what should be offensive or not. I'll be waiting. This is really funny because Tyler is like a constitutional conservative. And he says this, but not even realizing the irony of what he's saying. Like I said in this video to Tyler, I don't...
When talking about white people to say the whites. It just...
Gosh. There you go. Like I said in my video response to Tyler, I do also get aggravated when like white liberals try to explain to everyone, including black people, what is racist and what is not. But again, I never said it was necessarily offensive or racist. And number two, conservatives do this all the time. Conservatives are always trying to make videos of telling people what's racist and what's not, or what's offensive and what's not. Like, the irony here is so funny to me. Like, oftentimes you'll have white liberals trying to talk about like the N-word or something like that, and like I'm going very like lukewarm on the left-leaning example because I've already explained that left-leaning people, they can be ridiculous when they talk about something that's racist or offensive. But when I want to give an example of something we all agree on, which is when left-leaning people try to talk about something like, the N-word, it's pretty offensive, it's pretty racist. And then conservatives, there are conservatives that try to make videos like defending it. I'm not saying Tyler's doing that about the N-word or whatever. But like, this does happen. In fact, this is exactly what Alex is doing. Alex, not necessarily making videos, I guess, but making silly comments, silly arguments. He's a white person trying to tell minorities what should be offensive or not be offensive. Like, the irony of this is so hilarious to me. Oh my gosh. It's so funny to me. Oh gosh. Like, Tyler is the one out here white knighting for Alex. And oh my gosh. Yeah, like Tyler's literally the one who's out here white knighting for like Alex's argument, when Alex is literally the epitome of this comment. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's go back to this. So in Tyler's response, Alex went ahead and decided to respond. He said, quote, I hate apples. Sorry. And then, quote, I hate the apples. It's just an article. I said, we are not equal to apples, Alex. These are not comparable, which is true. Which is why I said it. In this comment. And then he said, it's literally a parallel, broski. An identifying article doesn't alter the context or meaning. This argument was one of the most Weasley arguments I feel I've almost ever heard. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic. But man, oh my gosh. I got such bad faith vibes from this. I talk about it in this next video. But to act like you can compare the sentence, I hate the apples and I hate the blacks, oh my gosh. It makes me cringe. It really does. It really does make me cringe. Imagine trying to say that I hate the apples is the same as saying I hate the blacks. Oh gosh. Like, it's so simple. It's so simple. Just, yeah. I'll let my video explain it because my argument's pretty clear. It's pretty simple, okay? Alex, bro, come on. I actually question if you're acting in good faith when you say this. What you're saying is, oh, the is an article. You're talking about grammar. Just because something is equal in grammar does not mean it is equal morally. This is not true. So the blacks and the apples, they may parallel in grammar, but that doesn't mean that they parallel morally. Okay, so I don't think that this is a one-to-one comparison, but let me give you an extreme example to show how something can be equal in grammar, but that doesn't necessarily mean that is equal morally. So if I said, I think apples are inferior to bananas, in grammar, this would be the same as saying, I think white people are inferior to black people. But this does not mean that they are the same morally. When you think about the moral implications of these two statements, they don't parallel. So in conclusion, saying the apples and the blacks may be the same thing when you're in your English class or whatever, but the implications of these two statements are very different when it comes to the real world. Yep. Alex. True. It's such a silly thing to say that, oh, you know, it's an identifying article, you know, it's a parallel. But grammar doesn't define our morals as far as like speech goes, right? I don't even know how that's a bad argument. I really don't know. I would love it for someone to explain to me how this argument was bad, because I think this is one of the most silly arguments I've ever heard in my life. Oh, I forgot to like this. There was something someone said here that I really liked. They said, you really shouldn't have had to explain, like, this is common knowledge. Yeah, I agree. There was someone, yeah. While I still agree with Alex in saying the group shouldn't be taken offensively, Matt took the win on this one. Hey, my man. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, I don't. When you say something like this, I just take the L on that one, buddy. Oh goodness. All right. So I guess now. Well, yeah. Hold on. Before I get into the Instagram stuff, or yeah. Before I get into, oh yeah. Hold on 1 second. I remember now. It doesn't make sense. There was something else I was going to go over. There's something else I was going to go over before I go into Tyler Bluntman's Instagram. Let me go to his page. Okay. Okay. Here's Matt. Matt is a stupid liberal. No wonder they would side with him. So yeah, before I guess, before I get into that, hold on. So I want to end the Alex arc of this drama real quick, and basically I'm gonna read off not everything because I'm not like a big DM guy. I don't like to like read off people's DMs or whatever. But there's a big DM, or there's a big group chat on Instagram full of political creators, and in fact, if you guys saw my video that got like super big like a week ago or something, talking about Benjamin.Politics, someone was coming after Benjamin.Politics for his statements about a video of a girl getting tased in a group chat. That was from this same group chat that I'm going to be reading off of. Someone tagged me. Someone posted. Oh, I guess I'll hold on. Give some context real quick first. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, right here. Let me give some context. Tyler posted a video that was, I guess, a response to mine, because when I posted this, there we go. When I posted this video response to Tyler, he never responded that day. Like that day that, it was the next day that I made the video for him, like he was asking, and he didn't respond that day. So I was like, okay, I guess we're done with this arc. We're done with the drama. I was wrong. The next day after that, which was, I guess, no, wait, it wasn't even yesterday, was it? I think it was the day before that, the night before last, I think. Tyler finally made a video.
Well, I guess...
Tyler finally made a video, and it was pretty bad. And I'll show that video in a few minutes, because he put it back on his Instagram. But he made that video. Oh, sorry, Fred. He made that video, and it was a pretty bad straw man. Really silly. I was gonna respond to it. I actually screen recorded some of it, and I was going to make a response the next day or that night, one of the two, basically saying like, "Oh my gosh, Tyler, this video is so bad." But then this happened, and I thought this was so funny.
TikTok sided with Mattvs.politics on my last video because...
Oh, well. Oh, hold on a second. It keeps on kicking me off the Wi-Fi. Oh, dang it. I hope it doesn't kick me off Tyler's page. Okay, here we go. There we go. Then this happened. Some dramatic pause, I guess.
Well, I guess TikTok sided with Mattvs.politics on my last video because, bam! Hate speech. Alright, it is what it is. I appealed it. I don't know how Matt's is still up, but it's all good. Hey, good luck to you.
Okay. This was hilarious to me. And this is where it should have ended. I thought it was over after this. I saw this as such a win for me. I was like, bro, even I want to say he tried to, in his original video that he put up, he tried to put it in a certain context that would work. And I agreed with that context. I thought that context would have worked. It was an extreme hypothetical. And again, I'll show you that video soon. But I think that context would have worked. But even TikTok decided, no, that context does not work, buddy. And they took that thing down fast. It was literally up for like 5 minutes. It wasn't up long. And I did not report it. There was someone in here who said that I reported it. Even they were like, Heath, oh my goodness. Yeah, here it is. Be snitching to TikTok. I didn't report this video, my guy. But he was really nice about it. I thought he was being for real. Or maybe he was, and he just realized, oh, he's coming after me. But either way. Oh my gosh, this was so funny to me. I saw this as a complete win. I don't think anyone can interpret it differently as a big win for me. He used it in a context, number one, that I already would have agreed with. Again, extreme hypothetical, but still. And TikTok pulled it for hate speech. It's like, Tyler, take the L right there, okay? You don't have to go any further. Of course he doesn't, but because it's Tyler. There's some other stuff I was going to say about this, but oh my gosh, it was so funny to me. Oh gosh. Then I just said, yeah, I was going to make a video on this. That's what I was going to say. Like, I was going to make a video on this, but then I saw it got pulled down, and I was like, it's fine. Again, like I said, I saw it as a win, so I was just like, forget it. I don't have to keep going with it anymore. Maybe this drama will end. I was wrong. But I went ahead and commented on it, and I was trying to be generous. I was trying to be nice, right? This is actually hilarious. I think the context you use it in was fine, but I guess TikTok agrees with me. Ha ha ha. I try to keep it lighthearted, right? And I feel like his followers actually kind of saw that because I got top comment on it on his video, which I thought was pretty funny. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like Matt's comment. Dog's moving around. Let me show you some of the responses to this though, because some of these comments. I can't tell if this was a troll. This guy responded to me, said, "We love fascism." I can't tell if this was a troll. This is unironically what like conservatives make fun of for the left-leaning people for doing, is calling everything fascism. So I legitimately can't tell if this is a troll or if this guy is just actually brain dead. Guess authoritarianism is fine as long as it's on your side, right? Oh my gosh. I'm surprised this guy doesn't have like the troll meme as his profile picture, because man, what a troll he is. Oh my gosh, these people sometimes. Are you laughing because you're proud to side with censorship against free speech? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. This guy was a shining star in a dark cloud. The private businesses don't have to require people to wear masks by that logic. Hey. Yes. Wait. He just responded to... I don't know if he was responding to someone else. No, he's laughing because TikTok is crazy. Even Tyler is laughing. Yeah. That's true. That's what I was doing. I mean, TikTok is crazy. Like, there was no reason that they should have pulled this down. Like, just because I think it's funny that they did pull it down doesn't mean I agree with it. Like I said, I think the context he used it in was fine. Again, to be fair, it was an extreme hypothetical, but I think the context he used it in was fine. And so TikTok pulling it down was really stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I guess so. Then we'll end that, arc of the drama, the TikTok arc of the drama. Let me pull this up for just a second. There's more of this. I'm gonna have to pull up my Instagram, so I have to turn off my display capture real quick. But before I get into that, so I want to talk about this group chat. So I'm in this group chat, right? Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I'm in this group chat, and I don't know if you guys know Obama, but he tagged me. Oh, sorry. Actually, was it Heath? It wasn't Heath, was it? Yeah, it was Heath. The guy who commented here, down here somewhere. Where is he? Yeah, here, Heath. He took a screen recording of Tyler's original video, the one that got pulled down, and he sent it in the group chat and said, "Matt, this was funny, bro." And then Obama said, "LMAO, Matt got destroyed," and then tagged me. And so then I went into the chat or the group chat, because I saw what was going on. And they were memeing pretty hard. I thought it was really stupid. So I said, "How did I get destroyed?" He literally strawmanned pretty hard. And then Alex.Debates rolls in, because he's also in the group chat. And he said, "The blacks is a non-offensive trope." And then I said, "Point to me where I said that it was an offensive trope. I would love to see this." Again, almost every single argument that they were pumping out, complete straw man. Almost every single one of them. He said, "So there isn't anything wrong with it." So I had to repeat what my original argument was. Oh crap. Let me. It's fine. Which I wrote it down here, but I was gonna show you my notes. But it sounds very weird, so I don't have a problem if people have an issue with it, as long as they understand context matters. That's my argument verbatim. And I said, "How's that a hot take?" Because it's not a hot take. And then I said, "Every single response I've got from you guys is a massive straw man." He said, "Why say my take is bad then? You were like, oh, she specifically said the blacks." How is this not Weasley? Okay, listen. He says, oh my gosh. He says, you were like, oh, she specifically said the blacks. Yes. That's what she said. I mean, that's what we were talking about. I don't get what that... I don't even get what that means. Oh my gosh. And then I also I said, I never said that Alex's, take was bad. That's not what I was saying. I mean, I think it is bad, but that's not what I necessarily said. But I also said the reason I didn't necessarily say it was bad was because when it comes to academics, I agree with them. But she wasn't talking about academics. She very specifically wasn't talking about academics. Which is why I made the video in the first place, right? Oh my goodness. But then they just stopped responding. I said, I'll read off my last message, but he just kind of stopped responding. I said, like, I don't even care about this that much because I don't think it's that controversial. I will be honest. I care about it a little bit because this is very fun for me. I think Tyler and Alex have shown that they've given themselves the biggest L ever in this. That's just me personally, and so I am having fun with it. But then I said, but the straw mans. Oh, but I said, but all the straw mans have been giving me full on brain rot, which is true. They have been giving me full on brain rot. So, then there's I guess to end the Alex arc real quick. Let me pull up my TikTok real quick one more time. View profile. Because I thought, oh goodness, here we go. I thought that, I think Alex handles things a little bit better than Tyler. And even though I think Alex kind of weaseled out at the end there where he didn't even respond to my arguments in the group chat, I think Alex is a pretty nice guy. And so I tried to make amends with Alex a little bit by making this video. Give me a second. Oh, come on.
Yes. Hey, Magnum, big fan.
And he said, we are all good, brother. And 35 likes. I think he got a top comment, which is good. Or at least close to it, I guess, close to mine. But yeah, he is a good sport. He is a good sport, which I was happy about. Yeah, I really don't have much of a problem with Alex. I think I haven't seen many of his debates to actually like speak very well on his actual debating. I would imagine he's pretty good or somewhat good since he's Alex.Debates. But from what I've seen in this argument, I think it was really silly. I think his arguments were pretty silly, and but I think overall, I think Alex is a really good guy. So I do want that to be very clear. But then we're gonna finish the Tyler arc real quick. Give me 1 second. I have to log into my Instagram. Because I don't think, to be honest, I don't think Tyler takes these types of things very well. And hey, you can argue that that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because I know he takes pride in how cocky he is. Alright. I've never used Instagram on computer either. Alright. Let's see here. So, this is the video that Tyler, that got removed from Tyler's page. That what am I trying? This is the one that got removed for hate speech, basically.
If someone were to say, oh, blacks are X, Y, and Z, I think that's very different from someone saying, oh, the blacks are X, Y, and Z.
Yo, so we're setting up a 40-meter dash between a whole bunch of different races and ethnicities. We're going to see who is truly the fastest. I mean, separating them by race and ethnicity, I don't know. Hey, I get it, but the people came to us. They wanted us to put this on for them. All right, fuck it. So it's going down right over here or what? Yeah, so these are the different lanes. You're gonna have blacks over here, Hispanics over here. Got you, got you, got you. And then whites over here, or wait, how does it go again? Right, right, right. You have the blacks over here. Hold on. What do you mean the blacks, man? What the hell is wrong with you? I told you, blacks go over here. Yeah, blacks, not the blacks. That's weird, man. Right, right. Okay, but like, why though? Because it literally changes everything, man. I told you, it's weird. It makes them sound like they're less equal or something. Okay, well, I didn't say the blacks who are less equal. I mean, can you articulate past this? So honestly, no. Right. So anyway, so the blacks go over here.
If someone
What a good argument, Tyler. Oh gosh. So if you haven't figured it out already, which I think most of you should be able to, because it doesn't take a third grader's brain to figure this out. Yeah, right here. This is the part that he's forgetting about. As long as they understand, context matters. In my original video, I will admit I should have added on to this one and said academic settings is okay, and other settings could probably be okay, I guess is the best way to phrase it. Just depending on what those settings are, just depending on what these settings are. But I thought that was implied by saying as long as they understand context matters. Meaning that whatever this situation was, this extreme hypothetical where it's okay to use the blacks, this is something that this doesn't matter. Like, gosh. Oh, all of these arguments, they're just most Weasley arguments. Okay, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, so he basically uses this argument of like, oh, extreme hypothetical where, oh, we're having a race of people that are separated by ethnicity because that's what the people wanted. And he says the blacks, and then he, plays me, I guess, or whatever, as, the other guy saying, whoa, you can't say that, bro. I can't really articulate how it's bad, but it is. Like, to act like that it's not a straw man is so funny to me when I literally said, as long as they understand context matters, because context does matter. I would never have an issue with a situation like this, assuming that this situation ever exists, ever. I mean, I've never heard of a race that's, divided groups by ethnicity, but, if you can find one for me, I'd love to be enlightened by it. So I think that was really stupid. I really do. Again, I would never disagree with this situation. I don't think it doesn't, I think it makes sense. But I never, my original arguments accounted for this type of situation, or at least I would argue that they do. And so then I guess we'll get into, oh my gosh, these brain dead comments here, bro. I guess I can't find, it doesn't show. Well, I'll just have to go to my notification. That's fine. We'll go click this. Does it work? Weird. I've never used well, shoot. Dang it. I really wish hold on, give me a second. I don't know why it's not. I would have thought, I mean, obviously when you're on TikTok, or sorry, when you're on Instagram on your app, it you can just click on it and it'll take you to that comment. Oh, maybe it will now. Maybe.
if someone were to
Oh, do I have to hit this? Oh, here we go. I see now. I see. I didn't realize what that plus meant. Okay. Yeah, I want to read through these a little bit. I said, hey, the straw man video. I wouldn't have said this again. Like, remember on, oh well, I took it down, but on Tyler's video on TikTok, I remember I tried to be like pretty, I tried to be pretty nice, try to kind of close the gap there and be like, okay, whatever. But he went ahead and decided to post it on Instagram. So, I was like, screw it. I don't care. I'm having fun. I'll be a little mean. I said, hey, this straw man video. But I said Insta will probably be nicer on this one. Which I'm sure they would. And he said, you don't know what straw man means. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, so he's going to go deep in. All right. So I was like, all right.
If someone were to say, "Oh,
why would you do that?" So if someone comes at me like this, like, obviously I was poking a little bit, but then if you start like acting like this when you are, I'm sorry, but I think I can pretty much, I think I can pretty clearly argue this in confidence that he is absolutely wrong on this statement. When you're trying to punch like this and your statement is just so bad right here, your argument right here, and again, I'm pretty confident in saying that. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna come back pretty hard. Okay, I'm gonna start getting a little meaner. I said, I know you don't know what a straw man means. I know you think that, Tyler. I know. Unfortunately, this absolutely was one. It makes me cringe. It does. It really does. This whole situation. And I've actually, hold on. I have said this on my channel before. When you make a video to make a point and you're like arguing with yourself, it makes me cringe. Oh my gosh, it makes me cringe because it looks so silly. They're almost always a straw man. I think I've yet to find a video where someone is doing like some political video or whatever and they're having a conversation with themselves and it doesn't end up in a straw man. Every single one I've seen without fail has been a straw man. It's, oh my gosh, it's really, really bad. And they always make me cringe really hard. Can you articulate how it's a straw man? And yes, I can, because it's pretty obvious. Yep, I never said it wouldn't make sense in certain contexts. In fact, I explicitly said it would make sense in certain contexts, such as academic. I did say that. I probably should have said this exactly. I probably should have said this in my video. It would make sense in certain contexts, such as academics. But I definitely did say academic settings is okay. And then I did also say, as long as they understand context matters, which the implication there, of course, is that certain contexts are going to be different than other contexts, right? Where am I? Such as academics, or in this case, extreme hypotheticals, which is what this was. But what I was referring to, which was in the original video, was when people refer to black people more generally, I don't have a problem if people have an issue with this phrase. Again, as long as they understand what context is important. It's so funny to me how I pretty clearly laid out these 4 points. Again, like I said, when I make a video, I'm really calculated in like the certain words that I say. I don't know if anyone else does this as like a political creator, because I used to not be really calculated in the things that I would put into a video. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only person who does this. Oh, sorry, 5 points. Maybe I'm the only person that does this, but I make sure that each like sentence that I'm saying is something that I can defend. And so it makes them look super bad. It makes them look weak and like really weaselly when like I've put in the work to like make sure that every single argument that I made in that original video was pretty calculated, pretty clear. And then they make a video like this that totally just disregards all of those arguments I made and like boils it down to something very simple, which is the blacks is offensive. That's basically what Tyler has boiled my argument down to. And then he acts like it's not a straw man. Like, how is he so blind to not see this? Oh my gosh, like, has he just like lost all brain cells? Have they just like left his body so completely that he can't even make a good argument anymore? Is that what's going on? How do you listen to a video that has all 5 of these points? Again, probably excluding this sentence right here, which again I should have said. I'll concede that point, although I think this is here. How do you listen to a video that has all 5 of these points and then come out with a video like this? How does that happen? Unless you're being like, again, you're working off of 5 brain cells, you're being disingenuous and bad faith, or I don't even know what a third option would be. It has to be one of those two. It has to be. Oh gosh. All right, sorry. But what I was referring to in the original video was when people refer to black people more generally. I don't have a problem if people have an issue with it. Again, as long as I said all this. Yes, obviously I would agree that this context would make sense in the context of your it makes sense in the context of your extreme hypothetical. But my original arguments accounted for this. My original arguments did count for this extreme hypothetical. I guess we're just going to blatantly ignore that. Give an example of when the word "the" is placed before a race or ethnicity and negatively changes the intention of the sentence. So I gave him a few examples. He wanted one, I guess. Yeah, an example. I gave him a few because hey, I'm just that nice of a guy. I think the blacks are X. That sounds I think most people would cringe at hearing that statement. Just think of that intuitively. If you heard someone say, "Yeah, I think the blacks are," and I'd be like, "Who are you talking? Wait, what are you talking about? The blacks are X? What does that even mean, bro?" Like, how does anyone say that and think that like that makes sense? I think the blacks are X. You know, what? The blacks do / do not generally do X, Y, or Z. Like the blacks do generally do well in math, or the blacks don't generally do well in math. Like both of these statements, they sound pretty weird. It makes it sound, when you say something like this, which actually he like uses the same example, so this will carry over. When you say something like this, the blacks do generally do good in math, or the blacks don't generally do good in math. When you say something like that, it makes it sound like you're talking down to them, like super hard. It makes it sound like you're talking down to black people. It really does. Like, this isn't me white knighting. This is just me being pretty blatantly honest about it. Like, and again, I never said that it was necessarily offensive or racist. Like, if people don't have a problem with it, like, say what the heck you want. I don't give a crap. But I'm going to speak my opinion, which is that when you say something like that, it kind of makes it sound like you're talking down to black people. Just be honest. And then this one was really important. I think this one is a pretty fair point. We need to fight systemic racism against the blacks. Maybe I should have phrased that a little bit better. We need to fight the systemic racism. Yeah, I don't know how else to phrase that. We need to fight systemic racism against the blacks. To name a few. This one is super important. Here, let me read this off real quick. And that last example is important because I see a few of your followers here are saying I'm white knighting, which is true. They were saying that. But saying we need to fight systemic racism against the blacks was literally in the context of what Hannah was originally talking about, and it's actually anti-white knight. Hannah's original video, I don't know did I write this down? Yes, I did write this down because this is what I remember talking about this a few minutes ago. The original context of Hannah's video was not about academic settings. It was about liberal white knighting. She literally said something like, when talking with a liberal about civil rights or something to the effect of that. And they say the blacks. And so it's so ironic to me that Tyler's followers, who are also pretty brain dead, in this comment section. I want to go over a few of them because it's so funny. It gives me an adrenaline rush reading some of these stupid comments. They were saying that I'm white knighting, but what's so funny is that like the original context of what we were talking about here was if someone were to say something like, we need to fight systemic racism against the blacks. Because when you say that, oh my gosh, it sounds like you're literally white knighting. So it sounds like a white liberal actually white knighting for black people and like being like super like white savior complex bull crap. You know what I mean? That is the way that it comes off. I don't know how else you can. Apparently Tyler would defend this statement. I guess Tyler would defend this. I guess he would see nothing wrong with this statement other than the fact that systemic racism exists because he thinks that. But yeah, I guess he would defend that. If someone were to say we need to fight systemic racism against the blacks, he would be perfectly okay with that statement. How can you not read that and get any other implication than that it's like a white savior complex? I don't know how you can't. And it's actually anti-white knight. When a white liberal says something like it sounds... oh goodness. When a white liberal says something... When I type fast, I write pretty bad. Liberal says something like that, it sounds like they are making black people to be this outside group that needs saving from the white people. It's true. When someone says something like that, makes it sound like they are the white saviors coming to help the black people because they're so whatever. They're so lesser than white people. That's exactly what it sounds like. Again, which was the literal context of the original argument. That's why this is a straw man. I think that's pretty clear. I think blacks do well in school. I think the blacks... Wait. Oh, gosh. Oh, I think blacks do well in school. I think the blacks do well in school. How does that negatively alter the sentence? Your entire reasoning is it feels weird. That isn't an argument. Oh, gosh. This floors me, too. Your entire reasoning is it feels weird. That isn't an argument. That isn't an argument, Matt. Didn't you know that like just saying it feels weird isn't an argument? Didn't you know that just saying it feels very weird isn't an argument? Oh wow, it's weird. It's almost as if like that wasn't the whole entire argument. That's weird. It's suspicious. That isn't an argument, which is why people are saying you're white knighting. Also, you can't properly articulate in your video, nor have you since then, how it changes the intentions of the sentence. Just because I literally just did. This is so ironic. Oh crap! I hope I didn't go too far. Where is it? You couldn't properly articulate in your video how it changes the intentions. It literally does. If someone says we need to fight systemic racism against black people, that is going to read much different than we need to fight systemic racism against the blacks. Does anyone seriously disagree with that? With what I just said? People can't, right? Unless you're just being so bad faith that you're so blind, right? We need to fight systemic racism against the blacks. We need to fight systemic racism against against black people. Even the black people sounds weird. And I literally said, makes it sound like you're trying to save the black people from the white people, which is why you're saying you can't properly articulate in a video. Yeah, I just did. But okay. Just because you can make a cohesive argument doesn't mean it's a straw man when someone shows you why your stance is illogical based on the information you originally provided. Weird, because the information I originally provided, you ignored, not me. This was the information I originally provided. You blatantly ignored all of it except maybe one. This is the one you just decided to leave in. It's weird how it made you look good when you only leave one of 5 parts of an argument in your argument. It's interesting. I want to get to this guy in a second and this guy, but I'll show you my last response. Your straw mans are so bad. Like, truly, Tyler, you should work on it. He should. If you were acting in good faith, you would know that was not my entire argument. It wasn't. My entire argument was, it feels weird to say or hear in many other contexts. So I do not have a problem if people have an issue with it, as long as they understand the context matters. Just because you can't understand a cohesive argument doesn't mean you made a good one. I thought that was a pretty good jab. It's crazy to me how you guys argue so well on other topics, But when it comes to this one, your arguments have devolved into absurdity. Yep. The information I provided in my original video was completely fine. You have just consistently and conveniently left out the information, left that information out of every single one of your arguments. Yep. This was the information that I provided in my original arguments, and he consistently and conveniently left out these parts of that argument. It's weird. And this was his last, I didn't see this one. He appears to be stuck on an F word, but the more fitting for him would be fake. What? What F word? What F word is he talking about? He appears to be stuck on an F word, but the more fitting for him would be fake, fraud, foolish, or fallacious. Oh my gosh. Oh, listen, I know that every community is going to have brain dead idiots. I get it. I'm sure that there are people in my audience or my community that that can't see past their own biases or whatever. But man, some of these comments, not only are they brutal, they're just blatantly stupid. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine ever stooping this low. Stooping to this low of a level that I would comment something like this under someone's video and think it's a good comment. I genuinely cannot. This is how stupid liberals have gotten. God commands us to separate the races. This is considered hate speech in 2021. Huh? I don't know what that means. The only one I can't stand is black bodies. How dehumanizing. Yeah, I wouldn't say the blacks is dehumanizing, but it definitely separates. It differentiates the two groups when it's not needed. Apparently the word "the," oh my gosh. But didn't you say just blacks at first? I think this guy's for me. I don't know. I don't want to like it just in case. Why did me and the homie have this conversation yesterday? These cucks are repulsive. Oh my gosh. Imagine saying these cucks are repulsive while simultaneously cucking out for him. Oh my god. You're pathetic. I'm so sorry, bro. You're so cringe. God. Oh gosh. These people. Wow, these leftists are really... Oh yeah, I responded to that one. That's okay. Stop. I'm crying. Again, a white knight saving the day. I didn't read this one. Letters T, H, and E are all in the word white, but neither is in the word black. Therefore, this is racist. Straw man. That "the" is one of the most common words in the English language, and no coincidence. "The" is racist. English is language. Oh my gosh. What's the comment here? Wait, where is this? Oh my goodness. I need you guys to boost this video, by the way, because Tyler, man, one of the problems with Tyler, and I'm going to say this pretty confidently based on the way he treats me lately. The problem with Tyler is that he gets by with making really, really, really bad arguments because of how big his platform is and how he has moron, brainlet, subhuman morons like this commenting on his videos. He gets to say bad arguments because he has these types of people commenting on his videos. And so, you guys should definitely boost this video. That way, we get the good ideas out there instead of the bad ones. We got to filter out, bad arguments like his. Because, gosh, are they bad? I guess we'll hurry up and end it. Sorry. I'm dragging on because this stuff is fun for me. This is good stuff. This is good content. So this was his last response. So again, you're dodging the question and projecting. I'll ask again. Pretend I'm saying it slow so you can really grasp what I'm asking you. Blacks do well in school versus the blacks do well in school. Can you articulate how the word negatively alters the intentions of the sentence without saying, oh, it feels weird? Also, it's weird how he leaves out the part where I said it makes, like, he didn't in his video, even though his video was a straw man in itself. But in the comment section, the only thing he keeps on touching on is this. It feels weird. And what's so funny is that, like, right here, I explained the entire argument for, like, the 8th time. And still, he only says, oh, it feels weird. That was your argument. Oh my gosh. Tyler, what are you doing? Like, oh my god. I feel so bad for him. I feel like maybe I should set up a GoFundMe. Maybe something's wrong with him. Is he sick? I don't know. Something's got to be up. Anyway, blacks do well in school versus the blacks do well in school. Now, first of all, I'll go ahead and... I didn't respond to this because I started making this video. Because this was 3 hours ago. That's interesting. That can't be true. Because as soon as he commented this, I started my video. Yeah, so I didn't respond to this because I was making this video. So I'll go ahead and respond to this in this video. And if he wants, he can watch all the way to the end of this video and get to hear everything. He gets to... Here, Tyler, I'll say it like this. If you're watching this video, which I hope you are, I'll go ahead and respond to this. But I'm glad that I'm putting it at the end of my video. That way, you get to watch all of the video that I've made up until this point and get to hear all of my arguments repeated over and over again, since it seems so conveniently that you've, like, not been able to hear those arguments whatsoever. And so, in fact, while I'm saying this, I'll just keep up my main arguments right here on the screen. That way you can't forget them, you know? Maybe you might still try and find a way to just, like, forget them or, like, conveniently leave them out in some way. But here they are. So, just while I'm responding to this, this is probably like the 20th time you've had to hear these arguments if you've watched this video. So here they are. If you somehow forget them at this point, then you really might need to, like, get Tyler GoFundMe started because something's obviously wrong. So this first statement, I guess I can't do that. Blacks do well in school. So this statement right here, I would say that there's probably, this already doesn't sound too great, right? Blacks do well in school. I mean, there's a reason that this statement was something that was used, like, in the 50s and 60s. Like, black people were generally referred to as blacks, I think, back then. And I feel like this statement would have been much more common back then. And there's a reason that we don't say it anymore. Not because it's racist or offensive necessarily. Again, here's my, again, Tyler, there's the argument in case you forgot. But it doesn't really make sense. We don't ever refer to people as whites. We don't ever refer to people as Asians. Doesn't really make sense. So already, though, I would be saying, like, you're not off to a great start by just saying this. But then when you say the blacks do well in school, oh, okay. Well, now it even sounds like you're trying to, like, separate them already. Like literally when I hear this statement, it sounds like we're back in segregationist times. It really does. Like I've never even lived in the 50s or 60s, obviously. But when I hear the blacks do well in school, I feel like I'm living in, like, a different reality where, like, segregation still exists. And we're talking about how the blacks over there, they're doing great, because they're in their own little school over there. Like, oh my, that's literally the connotation that comes along with these kinds of statements. I don't know how you can miss that. What I want to know is, does it really sound no different to Tyler when you replace this phrase here with black people? Like, what I want to know is, like, when Tyler hears black people do well in school, does that really sound no different to him than the blacks do well in school? Does it really not? I can't imagine that he would say yes in good faith, right? I don't know. I mean, if he does, then like, sure, he's consistent, but that doesn't mean he's not excluded from being criticized on how he's strawmanned me this entire time, right? But at least he'd be consistent, which I would respect. But also, you know, let's not forget, I've been pretty consistent too. So, So like, again, neither of these, and this doesn't change or alter any of my original arguments, neither of these I would find necessarily offensive or racist. Okay? If you said it to me, I wouldn't stop you in the middle of your sentence and be like, bro, you can't say that. That's racist. I wouldn't do that, obviously. But I'd probably give you a little bit of a weird look. And I think the reasoning's pretty clear. This, when you say it like this, you're separating out black people from every other group, or at least your group. It excludes them, makes them seem different. Again, this is, you know, you can use examples like for like something like animals or whatever, right? Like, we generally think of animals to be different from humans, and so we exclude them in certain ways through our speech and our patterns or whatever of speaking. You know, it wouldn't be uncommon to say, yeah, the cows or the animals, they generally roam around here. They do well in the pasture or whatever. That wouldn't be uncommon to hear because, you know, we know that there's a meaningful difference between us as humans and animals, right? But I don't think you could unless maybe you're talking culturally, maybe you could be like, oh yeah, well, there's meaningful difference between white people and black people. Or unless you're just basing it on skin, in which case I think your point is stupid. Anyway, yeah, I think that pretty much clears up. Oh yeah, there's this one guy I wanted to read real quick. These two guys. I think the blacks have a beautiful culture. Yeah, that does sound bad. Do you not realize? Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I think the blacks have a beautiful culture. Like, you know who I picture when I hear someone say, I think the blacks have a beautiful culture. You know who I'm picturing in my head when I hear someone say that? I'm picturing like the white suburban Karen that like lives in her nice house away from all black people, and she never has to see them or worry about them or whatever because you know she doesn't have to worry about that. And then, you know, someone asks her about like her conservative views and she goes, no, I have black friends. I think the blacks have a beautiful culture. Oh my gosh. How negative of me. Yeah, I mean, kinda. To be honest. Dude, you've made a bad argument. Admit it and move on, you silly white knight. You don't know what a straw man is either. I know that I'm repeating Tyler's argument, but... Oh my gosh. You are white knighting. You are cucking out for Tyler right now, buddy. Just stop. You're not the intellectual you think you are. You almost made a good point, but you missed. The systemic racism has always been the Democrats thinking the black population can't do things on their own. Wait, that's weird. Huh. Why did he say it like this? The systemic racism has always been the Democrats thinking the black population can't do anything or things on their own. Why didn't he just replace this with the blacks? That's weird. Or right here, they think black people. Why didn't he just replace both of these with the blacks? It seems weird, right? Right? Or is that just me? It almost seems like they should just like this guy, whoever this is, Speedy 1VA. Almost seems like this guy should just go ahead and like replace these two phrases right here with the blacks and do it in good conscience. I feel like if he wasn't memeing, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't have the gall to do it. Like if you're memeing on me and you replace these with the blacks, like that makes sense because you're like literally trying to like do a jab at me. But it's weird how like if the blacks is so like, you know, fine and dandy and honestly even common, it's weird how like none of these people who are talking about black people in the comment sections, they don't replace black people with the blacks. It's so odd to me. Because then it would have read, the systemic racism has always been the Democrats thinking the blacks can't do things on their own. They think the blacks can't get voter ID. Yeah, you're an idiot, bro. A black can do anything I can do, or you can do. What an idiot. Oh, gosh. All right. Well, this was fun. Let's see. Yeah, I was pretty blunt for this one, but I had a lot of fun doing it. This is probably one of the more fun videos I've ever done. I should get myself into more drama so I can do this more often. That'd be fun. Oh, goodness. But anyway, yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's not like I hate these people or whatever. I just think, at least in this very specific instance, they lost all consciousness and, you know, their ability to think. I don't know what happened to them. They must have fell or something. Again, I think Alex is good. I love Alex. He's a nice guy. Tyler, though, he I don't know. I think he's so interested in being right, not even making a good argument. I think he's just so interested in being right that he'll burn any bridge. Even if, you know, his argument is absolute trash. But that's just me. You know, hopefully me and Tyler can mend some bridge again or whatever. I don't think he has any like actual hate for me or whatever. Not hate, but I guess like even like contention with me or whatever. But I guess we'll see. Whatever happens in the future, whatever happens, I don't care. Yeah, anyway, leave a comment, leave a like. I'll see y'all later. Have a good night.